Okay, again, alhamdulillah, assalamu alaikum. I'm here again, people. Real quick, I want to clarify what I said in the video before, the part 3, at the end part, when I said what I would have to do to protect my family. So it's clear, because, you know, the Muslims are always being taken out of context, and we always misunderstood because of our faith and because of who we are. It's a biasness, it's a racist thing, it's a whole lot of conspiracy, but this is what they try to do. So I want to clarify first. When I said that I will protect my family, is if someone comes to my door and trying to come into my house and harm me, or if my child is outside and people want to come to them, like, you know, I have daughters that cover themselves with hijab, the covering of the Muslim females, and my wives, and they want to harm them, and if I'm there and I'm able to protect them, I'm going to protect them. And this is what I mean. You know, I'm going to use whatever effort I have to use to protect them, and this is the right of every human being. You understand? Allah has given me that right as a human. So don't get me misunderstood, don't get it twisted, and don't try to play my words out to demonize Islam or demonize myself. I'm telling you straight. Okay, so that's first off. And now to truly, inshallah, complete this series, which my main focus is that I did this on the behalf of Muslims in Islam. First, I should actually say for Islam first. Forget about the Muslims before Islam. Islam comes first, and then the Muslims come. Because we as Muslims are imperfect. We as Muslims are imperfect, just like the non-Muslims. Now, only difference between us Muslims and non-Muslims, that we believe in Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we pray to Allah 5 times a day, and we practice the 5 pillars of Islam, and on and on. That's the difference from us and the non-Muslims. But we make mistakes too, and we're not perfect. And those who are the fools and ignorant fools that make the terrorist attacks and even, you know, conspire with the governments that are using it as a tactic to bring fear to the people, as all these other videos and messages from like InfoWars and this guy Alex, I don't remember his name fully, but all these different aspects. These people are deviant and they are astray. They are astray from the path. So those Muslims, may Allah guide them for these actions that they did. But as far as for the Muslims and for Islam, I'm here and I'm doing this video on the behalf of it to let the people know the reality and the truth about Salafiyah. Because they unfortunately don't understand. They keep painting this image first to Islam, terrorism and Islam together, fundamentalists, Islamic fundamentalists, and then we see things that are happening. Like when I was at my Muslims congregational day, which is called Yomul Jummah. It's on Fridays. Every Friday we go and pray, and they have a sermon which is called the khutbah, and the khutbah is a sermon from the khatib, from the person who speaks and gives the khutbah. Usually he's the imam, which is the leader of the communities who does this, or it might be a brother that has knowledge of Islam and he comes and he gets on the minbar, which in English is a podium, and he preaches and gives a sermon about whatever subject he's going to speak about Islam. But this particular imam that I went to in this community here in North Carolina was speaking about how, you know, unfortunately the happenings that is going on now after this bombing that had taken place, which actually has inspired me to come and do these videos from all the way from my poem that I've made before these videos that I'm doing in defense of Salafiyah. You know, because the things that have been mentioned on the news in the media is that they're talking about that these 2 individuals that so-called, they say, that actually committed these crimes and evil against humanity, they are Muslim, and it's clear. Their family even mentioned it, and they've come from a country that is predominantly Muslim. But they're trying to put it all together and then there's people who are making statements in the media, which the media has a lot of effect and influence over people, whether the people truly, you know, have their own minds, they don't use them. Usually they are influenced and they blind follow. And if they have it in their heart of hate and frustration and biasness already, then they're going to go fully with it. And they're going to think exactly that the group of people that they're speaking about in the media that has something to do with such evil as this, which is the Muslims, as they've been doing since 9/11 and even before that, but 9/11 was the biggest, okay, and now it's a clear case of demonizing and defamating the character and bringing negative images and trying to downrate and take away the good reputation of Islam as it has been through centuries. But of course, Islam always had its enemies, and the Muslims always had their enemies, and we have the same ones today. But as far as me, I have no qualms with, and as Muslims myself, Salafi, we don't have qualms to go as far as that, to commit an evil. It doesn't make sense. So let me just read you a little bit of things that of the statements from some of the main Salafiyuns, that which meaning the people who are upon the path of Salafiyah, that they speak about. Like from this brother, let me see, hold on for a second. He wrote like an article or write-up, and it's called "The Necessity of Teaching Our Children to Despise Terrorism and Terrorists." Okay, this is from a Muslim, and the author is Abu Umar al-Utaybi. Okay, and the part that I wanted to speak on was where we at? Hatred for terrorism and terrorists. One of the issues we are required to do is raise our children, cultivating within them abhorrence for terrorism and terrorists, exposing them, their plots, and their patterns. And we must isolate our children from them and distance our children from following their way and objective. Okay? It should be clarified for them that these terrorists are a people astray, deviously perverting Islam. Okay? They're trying to prostitute Islam. Astaghfirullah. May Allah forgive all of us from these evils. Those who are evil, who are doing the evils especially, and protect us from practicing this way. Devils have influenced them, seduced and misled them, and the devils are not to be seen all the time, so we don't know who's actually behind it. Like Al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden, comes to find out they were operatives for the CIA or the FBI. So let's not get it twisted, but I'm just throwing things out. You go and do the research on your own. Satan uses such people to spread evil and corruption. Even those who show enmity towards Muslims, like Zionists and others, may be happy to see such bombings and destruction committed by terrorists in Muslim lands. So these people are happy. They promote this, and they even plan it and use these people to do so. Okay? It should be explained to our children that the bombings of terrorists carrying out while trying to use the Quran and the Sunnah in support of what it's doing, nothing more than an attempt to deceive and betray people, because they want to use the Quran and the Sunnah so they can have support from the Muslims, okay, that are ignorant, that don't know. But the Salafis, we know, and this is a Salafi. This is a person who is clearly showing a distance. So how are you going to say it's the Wahhabis or the Salafists in your media? How are you going to say it? How are you going to think it as a person if you have an open mind that Allah blessed you to have, and think without conviction, with constructive thinking and learning to differentiate from what's correct and what's false? But you're not doing that. You're just going along with it. Anybody can tell you anything. A con man can con you out. You're just a fool, listening and seeing and sitting like a couch potato and getting angry and, yeah, that's it. But instead, you should be searching and finding out. Why your children went into different countries and fought and then died, and then they come back and what's barely anything for you and your family, to that the country is supporting you in any kind of way, but your son is dead or your daughter is dead. But why? What was they fighting for? And you think it's because for the freedom of the country, for this and for that, and you haven't even seen the truth yet because you haven't looked. Also, they are advised, it says, continuing, also they are advised to be glad when, and this is a Muslim, and this is from Islam, because the Prophet ﷺ spoke against the terrorists or the people who commit suicide and the evils of these people who do this. Even one of them are stopped or arrested and put away. So we have to be happy. Children should be taught that by even one's terrorist arrest or being stopped, this is a victory for Islam and Muslims. You know why? Because Islam is being defamed by the likes of these people. It's being defamed, and I might seem a bit like, uptight, and I have the right. Who doesn't have the right? Because these people are doing these acts, and then it's making it bad for all the rest of us. And then you want to come and try to harm my wife, or harm another brother's wife or children. There was a brother that was killed in the Bronx in New York, where I'm from. Actually, I don't know if he died, but I heard from the khutbah that he was beaten really bad. He was beaten unconscious. You understand? And subhanAllah, this is really sad. And it continues, it is a relief and comfort to Muslims without the evil of such destructive terrorists. So it's a relief for us to not have them around or existing if it came to that we had to just get rid of them all. And this is permissible. Or if they can be rehabilitated. They are certainly days of happiness. There are certainly days of happiness and joy when we hear of a terrorist plot being exposed, or the terrorist crime prevented, or even if capital punishment is carried out upon a criminal terrorist, meaning that they take their head. In Saudi Arabia, they take their head if they do not turn away from this. You understand? So Saudi Arabia, and y'all keep claiming Salafis, and this brand came from the Wahhabis, and it started from Saudi Arabia. Islam began from Saudi Arabia. So you're trying to demonize the faith. Don't fool me. You're not fooling me. You're not fooling a lot of Muslims. You're trying to demonize the faith. Ya media. Oh, media. But anyway, the people who are just sitting and innocently don't know, you need to find out. Okay? And I hope that this is the real clarity and the proven point of what I'm getting at, what was trying to get at, Salafiyah, or the Salafist, as y'all say in the media, or the people of the path of the Salaf, who strive to be the best Muslims, because Muslims are weak and we have wrongs and we're incorrect, and especially if we don't, put our faith first. But in Islam, different from all the other faiths that came before it, is that now, as it being the last revealed faith and the last revealed message and the last revelation to mankind, that it is the last, so you have to uphold and gather up and prepare yourself with your faith, with your strength of being a strong worshiping person, because you're going to meet your Lord. You want to be right when it comes time to give in the grades and take and you're going to take exams. You want to gather all the information up in school, in higher learning, university, and you want to be prepared to take the exam so you can pass it with high flying colors. I want to pass with flying colors so then I can fly to paradise, to Jannah, inshallah. And as well as Muslims like myself. What is so wrong with that? So we are not who you think we are. We have not caused these terrorist attacks. We have not done this. You have to seek and find the truth. Stop judging the faith, Islam, for the actions of the human weak Muslim that has done these acts, if so, with proof being followed. And I thank you for listening. This is the conclusion, and may Allah guide us all, the Muslims continually and the non-Muslims, to Islam, and to learn that Islam is not here to destroy it. It is here to confirm the worship and establish what Allah has presented from the beginning, from man being put on this earth till the end. And Allah knows best. Shukran, that means thank you, and have a good evening. Assalamu alaikum.